Hey there everyone, Hitesh here from LearnCodeOnline.in, creating amazing videos so that you can learn programming in a fun and easy way. It's easy to understand. Let's move forward in this amazing JavaScript series. Have you subscribed to my channel? Okay, regardless of that, now let's roll into the things, and we are going to learn a little bit about generating a random number or simply creating a function that can roll up a dices. So let's just say you want to have a simple app or maybe a website where you can click a button and it rolls a dice, probably for a Ludo game, and you get a number between 1 and 6. So how you can do that? Now, as what we have learned so far, you cannot do that. And obviously writing a simple if and else condition for that would be a terrible mistake. So let's just learn how we can do that. So obviously we are talking about numbers. So previously we did talk about quite a lot about the strings. Now let's talk about the numbers. So there are a couple of problems in numbers, not much, but a little bit. So we have to take care of them as well. First and foremost, let's just have num1, and this num1 is going to be equal to 22. I'm specifically choosing this number to show you some stuff. And the num2 is going to be equal to 7. And now I want to simply have a result of 22 by 7. Okay, so we're going to just control, and there we go. And we are going to run this node dice.js. What is going to happen? We're going to get a number which is pretty long. Actually, to be precise, it's 3.1428571, which is actually pi. And that's why I chose it, because it's a really humongous big number. Now, probably in your application, you don't want to do that. Probably it's a price of something. And due to some application error or something, you have just got a pretty big number. So you want to drill it down to probably just 2 digits here. And it can be done. Surely it can be done. So let's just move ahead, and I'm going to be storing that result as simply 22 by 7 so that I can play around with it here and there. What you can do is you can have, just like in the strings, we had some functions. Simply the result has some options, not many to be honest, but this result can have like a fewer options here. So what we can do is we can simply say this result, and we can change it to, and actually before I go ahead and show you how we can do that, let me show you the documentation, because a lot of people were complaining, hey, show us documentation in advance. As you wish. So we're going to say numbers, JS, MDN, of course. Honestly, there are not much of them. Like you can read them in probably like 10 or 11 minutes, all of them. So there we go. And that's it. I haven't used much of the above ones except the nan. I use that quite often. Apart from that, these are the ones. And the one I was about to talk about is toFixed. And if you'll click on that, it's pretty easy. You can just have a number, and you can simply apply toFixed and can pass on a value into it. So what it's going to do, let me just show you that. So once you have a number which is pretty big, if I just run, of course, the results, save that, and there we go, we have a pretty big number. So what you can do is you can simply say toFixed. I don't know why it is not suggesting me anything. So what you can do is you can use toFixed, and you can pass on a value. Of course, the number on which you are using it, it should be a floating point number. Remember, the things which, when I say 22 and 22.0 are two different things. The one is the float one, this is the integer one. So make sure you understand that. And then you can pass on values, probably 2, 3, how many decimal points you really are expecting here. So there we go, 3.14, the most known value of the pi. Okay. So there we go, we have learned, but we notice one thing, that we don't have much to do with the number. So with this resource, actually, we cannot do the dice thing. So we need to go and learn a little bit more about another libraries here. So let me just explore that. So just like the numbers in JS, there is something known as, which is really powerful and very popular, is math. So go ahead and explore the math library here. The math is like, a lot of things can happen. You can design your own scientific calculator here. You have cosine, sine, tangent, sine, cos, tan, cot, cosec. It's everything is here. What I want to say here. How we can use that? Let me show you. And I'm going to show you with a simple example. Now let's just figure out, there is a number in here which is 3.14. You want to round it up. So obviously the roundup is going to be 3. But we want to do it programmatically. So how that can happen is we're going to simply log, And probably, I want to store that first of all into a result. So I'm going to be just copying that and deleting this, and let float res for float result. We're going to be storing that just like that, and we're going to be simply logging it now. So our float res, and we're going to be using, now how we use these things actually is, first of all, you don't write this. You simply use the math library here, and it has a lot of methods being defined, and one of them is floor. And there's a good relation in a room here. Let me just show you first of all what the floor does, and then you can pass on a value which is float res, and save that, and now we can run that. So there we go, we got a 3. So there are two options or two methods here. Easy way to remember: the floor and the ceiling. Floor brings down every floating value to the bottom part. Like if even it is like 3.99, it's going to bring it down to 3. And if you have a value, if you use a function known as a ceil, it's going to bring it to the top. No matter if it is just 3.14, it is going to bring up to 4. So let me show you that. We can have a simple log, and we're going to call math again, and there is a method ceil, and we're going to have float res. Save that, and this is going to give you a 4 at the bottom. So I hope you make the point that how these things are working. Okay. But still, one thing is remaining, which is random. Can be a little bit tricky to understand, but don't worry, I'll make it easy. So there we go. We have is, if you look around, there is a random here, and this is how it works. It gives you random. So let's explore how these random functions work. And first and foremost, I would like to comment out a few things because random can be a little bit tricky to understand. Let me just quickly run that. Yep, we are getting no output. Okay, so let's bring up our random stuff. So first of all, let's log the random. Now what the random actually does, we can simply call this as simply math.random, and there we go. Now math gives you a number between 0 and 1. I know math geeks will be saying, hey, it's always a seed, so it's not perfect random. Wait a minute here, we're not talking about that. So basically, it gives you a random number between 0 and 1. So how we're going to proceed is, let's just run that so a couple of times so that we can see, yes, we are getting a random number every time. But this is between 0 and 1, so quite a lot of decimal numbers. So let's just say I want a number which is between 0 and some particular number. So what I can do is I can just quickly multiply it by probably 10. And now let's just see what we are getting. So we are getting 5, 3, 9, and 9 again, but we are not going above 9. So we are getting from 0, which is the base value, to the 4, to the 10 actually. And technically it's never going to be 10. It's always going to be like 9.999, something like that. So if you want to make it like something like 10 should be inclusive, probably you can add just 1 here, so it should be included, and then drill it down. Now a lot of people get confused when I make an example of 10, or probably other instructor make. If you want from any value, you can just write that number, just as simple as that. And with the magic of mathematics, you're always going to get a number which is between 0 and 4.999 technically. Okay, so it's being proven as of now, these random values. There we go. So this is being solved. And what happens if I add 1 to it? Now save that and run that. So notice we are getting 3, 4, 1. I'm trying to get a value which is 5. There we go. So we have now got the 5. Okay, so we add 1. Now this is 1 here. Basically, we're writing 6 here. So you get the point. Now, how we can use this knowledge to build an application which is a dice roller? It can be really simple. So I'm going to just comment that out. First and foremost, we're going to define our boundaries. So we're going to say let lower boundary, which is going to be probably like 6, or probably I'm going to start with a bigger value first so that you can understand it, and then we'll be drilling down to the lower one because that's easier. And basically what I wanted to write here is this is going to be upper, and then I do have a lower that is going to be probably 20. Okay, there we go. These are 2 values defined. Now let's use this math.random to generate any number. I'm going to wrap this up into a simple variable, and I'm going to call this as my random. And now comes up the fun part. First and foremost, we're going to be using our power with math.random, So obviously, you get a number between 0 and 1. But we want this number to be specifically for a particular range here, okay? So what we can do, how many numbers you want up here, what we can do is we can simply do something like this. Put a pair of parentheses and we can do something like upper minus lower. So what we are generalizing the things. Imagine it is just saying 25 minus 20, which is 5. So I want just to generate these numbers between that. Okay, so 25 minus 20 gives you 5. Okay, but since we are multiplying it by 5, we're getting a number between obviously 0 and 5. This is not what we want, and obviously the 5 is not included. Remember, from 0 to 4.999. So first and foremost, I need to add 1 to it so that this 5 is inclusive. So right now we have generated a number from 0 to 5, but you might be asking, what's the point of having 25 and 20 if we are just generating between 0 and 5? We could have simply write 5. No, we are generalizing the things. You'll understand the power in a minute. Okay, so what I can do here is, right now it's getting me number between 0 and 4.999999. I want to just use my floor magic here. What I can do, I can wrap this up, all of that in the pair of parentheses, and I can use my power, which is math.floor. You can use ceil as well, but it depends on highly how many cases you want to have, inclusive upper bound or exclusive upper bound and stuff like that. Okay, now our work is done. Almost. There's still some stuff remaining, but I want to show you some stuff here first. I want to log this value here, which is my random. There we go. Let's just run this and see what is happening. So we get 3, that's fine. We get 4, we get 5 as well. 4, 2, 5, but we are not getting above 5. So we are getting all the time between 1 to 5. Obviously we have added, so it's 1. So how we can convert that it always gives a number between 20 and 25? Really simple. You just add a lower bound to it. There we go. Now what it's going to do, since we were already getting a number between 1 and 5, and now 20 is being added, so 20 plus 1, 21, 22, 23. You got the point? It's really simple. I bumped the mic. It's really simple when you add a lower value to it, okay? So that's the whole point of generalizing the thing. Okay, so there we go. Now if we are going to run this, since we have added a lower bound there, we're going to turn that up. Let me clean the screen. And notice we are getting 21, 23, 24, 21. Since we have already restricted everything to be just 5 numbers or whatever the difference of upper bound and lower bound is. Okay, this is the power of generalization. You'll be doing that quite a lot, and this is quite fun. Now all you have to do is once you have understand the concept, you can just replace it 6 and 1 and probably 6 and 0, whatever you like, and however you have designed it. In my case, it's going to be just simply 1. Save that, and we're going to open the terminal, clean that up, and dice rolled 5, 1, not even a single time. Lucky I'm not getting a 6 here. Come on, give me a 6. There we go. Finally 6. There we go. So this is how the stuff work and how you can generate a random number in JavaScript. And just to remind you, you will be using exact same concept in a variety of programming languages, not just in JavaScript, but a lot of languages. Concept is always going to remain same. Probably there they call it with some other names, maybe math libraries changed a little bit, but the concept is going to remain same. So that's pretty much it. I hope you're enjoying this series, and especially this video. It was a lot of tough stuff. And if you don't get it like for the first time, it's no big deal. A lot of people get confused in the randoms for the first time. Rewatch the videos, practice it a little bit, give it some time. It will come as the time will progress. So that's it for this video. Visit learncodeonline.in. I have amazing videos just like this one, probably a little bit better as well on the website, plethora of videos, and hit subscribe to my channel. That's it for this video. I'm going to catch you up in the next one.